Right, welcome to Dwarf Fortress. This is the Fortress of Paint Daubs. It's just a hamlet. We're only basically 3 years in at this stage, so still early days. But we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Now, I did actually, I did find this area where we had like an unusual volcanic wall, which I spoke about, I think, in episode 32 or 33, potentially. I can't remember which one it actually was. Anyway, I did sort of mention that we're in through here. I'm not going to go and crack this open. I don't want to show you spoilers as such in this particular series. Now, if you are wanting to see the spoilers, I did a separate video, like probably by the time you're watching this about a month ago. So there's probably not really much of a secret, but I did sort of, when I found it, I've never come across it before. It was just basically a gem-encrusted volcanic wall. And we want to avoid it because the risk-to-reward ratios for where we currently are just aren't worth it. So we're not going to be delving into that in that particular direction. So the goal still is to find magma, and essentially, like if I just try to put it into sort of like basic sort of terms in terms of how things do work. There's always magma on the map, but you may not find it easily, and depending on where you start. So there will be pockets of it, but you'll have to start to hunt for it. Now, the deeper down you go, the more likely you are to actually come across magma. The deeper down you go, the more dangers there are as well, like depending on what you sort of find down there. In this instance, we've now gone through our third cavern layer. That's the last of the cavern layers. But when we hit the magma, we have to be careful what we then do. So I'm going to just tell my guys how far down did we go. Now, we're at negative 33 so far. How far down do we get to go? There's where we are, negative 60. Now, if you're unsure, just keep on digging down, but don't dig down past around about, say, 95 to 100. 100 is about as far as you can go anyway, negative 100. But what you'll find is that when you do, you won't find, it's very hard to find magma as magma on those areas. There's an old spoiler. I mean, it's years and years old now, but below negative 100 is essentially the underworld, and not that you can't break through directly through the floor. You have to find a tube in there, and it'll be encased in adamantine all the way up. That's how you get your adamantine as well. So we need to sort of try to find these sorts of things. So we'll do that in this episode. I'm just going to keep on searching until I actually find until I find magma or hot rock. I'm going to avoid that region. If we have a look at the mini map, I'm going to avoid this region through here simply because that is a region, again, full of spoilers. Risk and reward just not worth it. So we'll find other ways to actually get our magma. So I'm going to first of all just keep on digging down. So I'm going to go to the layer above to start with in through here and go into my stairs. I'm just going to start with the up-down stair and then sort of move down past this one. I'm going to go down to, let's just say, negative 90 as a start. I don't really want to go beyond that one. Once we get to here, now unless we find it, actually I'll wait and see if we find it at this point. I'll just come back when this has been dug out. By the way, an important aspect of all of this is that you may run out of food a lot as you're sort of down this way. You may want to build like a halfway station somewhere, but I tend to want to see where I am first. So I'll sort of allow the miners to go and do a little bit of digging, run upstairs, all the way upstairs, which is a long way up now, and get their food and drink and then come back down again. So I'll do that until we find where we are, and we'll do that in this episode as well. Just establish an operation down in this end of the dungeon, or in this end of the fortress. I shouldn't call it a dungeon. It's a fortress. It's positive. Anyway, I'll pause this and I'll come back when I've actually delved a little bit. So I'm going to sort of come through and then just put mining areas out to try to find the magma. Okay, so nothing down on this layer just yet. So let's just continue on. We're now at negative 90. So let's just now move. I will actually go down towards where that problem actually was. So we'll just go a fair way down until we sort of find something hot. Generally, you may have to go off in different directions depending on what the magma areas are like on your map. Again, it's going to take a long time for them to come from the top of the fortress to then come down and then start this mining. Actually, she was already down this way. So we'll just sort of see if she finds anything. All right, so here we go. We've actually now got our designation warm stone located. So we can now sort of have a bit of a look to see what's going on here. Just go and undo that one, go back to the mining. And we can see there that there's actually some, there's a hot area there, another hot area through there. So I'll get rid of this stuff, the designation that we had beyond that. And we'll just see if this is lava. It still could be related to the other one that we actually had come across. God, I went a long way, didn't I? Just went too far. Should have just done it bit by bit. Oh God, why did I do this? Oh, there we go. That's the end of it. All right, because we don't want that to accidentally be triggered again at some other point. So now, in terms of trying to crack through magma, and we do have to crack through it, the easiest way to do this sort of effectively is to find a corner piece. Now, the fact that that's not hot and that one is hot, we've actually come in on a corner piece. There's a hot one there. So if you can imagine, the magma would be, it could be here. Could it be here? No, it wouldn't be, because if it was here, it would be hot there. And so we've actually just happened to have come right on an actual corner piece. Now, what I think I'll do is actually, I want to find what this actually is. So I'm going to come back up across it, try to find another area. If it's a magma area, there's a good chance it sort of bubbles out. And so I could actually just dig straight down and see if that actually finds it. If I open this one up, actually, that doesn't matter if that floods. It really doesn't matter, because this is my bottom layer anyway. So we can just deal with this one as required. So because there's no heat over here, it's relatively safe in terms, again, of risk-reward to channel that one out and have the magma flow through the diagonal. Also, she's been quite fast. I think if she was sort of wounded or any sort of sense, I would actually be more concerned. Come on, back you go, back you go. Anyway, we'll see what happens here, but that should be a corner. That should be magma in here, I'm hoping. And I'm hoping it's not just more of that same big cluster of other things that we've already found. Anyway, I'll pause this until the miner comes. Now, the miner is on their way. Now, to deal with this one more effectively, what I could have done was dig a hole, put a pond in, and just put a little bit of water in the pond so they could run back through that way. But I'm going to risk this just to sort of see how we go. I wouldn't recommend this. I would recommend the pond method, but I'm urgently trying to sort of get this thing done. I'm impatient is the word I'm trying to find. Anyway, it's taking a long time with the game running at pretty much full speed to get up there. Come on, here we go. Oh, it's not. He's a bit slower. There we are. Now he's discovered a great Magma sea. So this is what we wanted to find. Now this will ultimately then sort of channel in through here. He should be able to run away before the magma splashes out. We're just click on OK. And we found raw adamantine. Now this is there's an old spoiler, so yeah, I'm not going to pussyfoot around with that one. Adamantine is the material where the tubes then go down into the underworld, and so we don't want to be releasing that, but we would like to get some of the adamantine at some point, and we can do that from the top of the tubes, and so we'll find where that actually it does go. So just click on more, and just do Great Magma Sea, and again an unusual volcanic wall studded with gems. So got the same thing, and raw adamantine there again as well, and he's just making it out just in front of this one. It is wiser to build the pit and fill it up and not rely on them having to run past where the magma actually is. So let's go and have a bit of a look to see what we found. There's the gem pile again. It's the same, in the same position relatively from where we actually had everything from back over here. So relatively the same position back into this other side as well. So we want to avoid this area. Look at all the gems everywhere. There's just absolutely everywhere. If we go back to our mining, we can then sort of see that we've got adamantine. We can just go across to that one. And so it is showing adamantine where? It's still all part of that cluster. I'll just go and see if I can find that one. That's where it is. So there must be adamantine in around here again as well. Clusters. I'll just find it. Actually, technically it is there under there. When I hover over there, you can see raw adamantine cavern floor. So it actually extends out, but the magma then is full above that one. So if I go back down, it's actually the top of this, still this big cluster of gems. So this is the dangerous area that we want to just avoid. It's encased, so it's safe where it is, but things aren't always safe. I did see when I was looking around, there was a snake somewhere. There it is, just over here. So we've got ourselves a fire snake. So we have to be careful of these. If we go and have a bit of a look and see what that one actually is. Actually, will it do it? Oh, we can't get it. I think this is like a rodent. But even so, there's going to be all sorts of beasts that we have to then sort of start to concern ourselves with. So we're going to block this area off, and we do that by going up the stairs. We're going to then channel this area out. In fact, what I need to do is when I come up 2 layers, I'll just go across and dig across a little bit in through this side, just so we can block this area off and not worry about it. And I'll just do this one now because this one is actually fairly important. Then we'll just do a down stair, just one down from here. So we're just going to go down to there. So this is still the up down stair, and then we'll just go back across into this side, and then we'll channel out this area. That way we won't. Then we'll be able to just put a piece of rock in that over the top of that, just then stop it. In fact, I don't need all this stuff in around here. Just get rid of that. It's going to take a little bit of time to figure that to actually be done. Now what we'll sort of find, if I just sort of zoom out, we can then start to look at the magma sea and just get a bit of a shape for it. You can see there, that's the cluster that goes all the way up. That cluster sort of extends, and as we sort of scroll up through the layers, it's still dual encrusted all the way through. So it's a monstrously long tube of that. Now we sort of run out of stuff again back over here. Now I want to avoid this area. So we do actually have an area just over here that we can then go and find out even more information, but we then run out of what it has above it as well. Now that may be the top of it, but this is still a long way down, negative 75. This one over here does continue going up, up to there. I think I'd like to know if this is the top. So I'm just going to go and dig on the layer above. I'm just going to go, I'll just zoom back in again. So all I'm trying to do at the moment is just I'm trying to find as high up as I can get the magma, effectively the magma. I don't want to be right on the very, very top level. I want to be sort of like at least one layer down below, if I like, because this may sort of drain away a little bit. Not much, but it probably actually still would be okay. Let's just go back across. So one layer up, there's another diagonal there, but I don't want to be flooding these at all. So I'm just going to go across and just sort of see what happens if we dig out this area. And I'll pause once this is all done. So we've got the channel now coming in, filling up with magma. We've got now the area that's now been sort of finished off above, and we've then gotten rid of the up-down stair. So we've just got a down stair, which still gives access to whatever's down below to then sort of swim up and just basically climb out. So we don't want magma creatures coming out here. We want to fully seal everything to do with the magma. It's can just be it can really be quite damaging if things do come through. So I can basically just block that one through there because we've got an up-down stair above us as well. By putting an actual piece of wall there, nothing else can really get through it. Now we've just got a piece of granite just 2 away, so we'll allocate that one. Let's just see how we're going up above. So we'll just find where our work layers need to be. So he's moving across here. Just see how far he gets. Okay, we'll just have a bit of a look. Pitch blend. Here we go. Now we're getting more heat there. What about now the layer underneath? We can sort of see that we've got a we're getting more interesting sort of things. Again, we've hit another area here. Now what I don't want to be doing is actually going and exposing the I don't want to be flooding the fortress with or, you know, even though there's not much below us, but I don't want to be actually I don't want to open this one up and then actually have the fortress flood. But you can see there, it's sort of now, it's bulbed out a little bit. Like we've got, you can sort of see it through there. We've got this sort of area, and then the next one up. We're a little bit under, so if I look underneath there, if I channel this one out, that will then disappear. And then we'll get a better view of what the rest of the lava's doing. So let's just go and do that. So just going to go and channel that one. So we're not breaking into the lava here as such. We're just going to go and have a look and see what's down below, which is perfectly safe. I'm just slaughtering some of the rabbits at this point in time. By the way, what I did also, just to point this out, I have turned off, because I'm not sure about what's going on here. In the standing orders, I've got do not automate the kitchen at this stage, because I want to see if I can find rabbit tallow. So I'll just have a quick look and see if that's the case. Meat and fish. It looks like there's no rabbit tallow. I thought there would be. Okay, so we can't use rabbits for their tallow. Okay, I'll just go back to standing orders and just automate the kitchen again. Okay, so we now see this, and what that then does is it then exposes, and this looks to be the top layer. Yeah, it is the top layer of that particular pocket. So we can make use of this if we wanted to. Like it's, as long as we don't drain it away below. You can see there's a few little areas of 6s in amongst the 7s. This is because of what we drained away down below. It's actually all flows all the way down to this layer through here. And so once that's now full, there's just going to be, like it's a finite resource, this particular resource, unless it sort of flows, you know, off the edge of the map at whatever level it is. Anyway, this is an area that there we go, another fire snake in through there. So we do have to sort of protect this, protect ourselves from this one. So this is now, we're now looking down on top of the actual layer itself, and so this will be a good layer for us to then start to use as our for what we want to do. And we can see that there's hot stone everywhere above us, or everywhere out. Look, it doesn't go any further up, so it's all safe for me to go and delve this. It's going to be frustrating as anything to do this, but I might do it. Or what I could do is, I do want to go and actually start to make use of this. I probably want to go down a layer or two. So maybe we start doing our work in here. You know, so we sort of work on this layer through here. We can then sort of build like a big area into this whole area. So what we'll do is we'll just go and place another piece back and through this side. Just go back to constructions, walls, and we'll just go and block this one back off again. We've got granite 5 away, so we'll just go and do that. Somebody will come and sort of then make use of this. If we go back down the bottom there, I think I saw someone going down to do this one if they haven't done it already. Oh, they've gone and claimed it. There we go. And that's now been safe, so we now have a safe zone through there. There's the rock that had fallen from above. If we, I don't know why it's over there, but that's interesting that it's gone. Oh yeah, no, that's pretty much directly below where we mined it. I wasn't aware of that. Anyway, they'll just keep on coming up. So this will be, now that we know exactly what we're dealing with, I'll build what I need to on this layer, and then I'm going to create the channels under this layer. So I now need to sort of try to talk through. We've got halfway through and we haven't really sort of built anything. So we've got a few different things we have to now consider. We've got, first of all, we need to have like an area for the guys to work from, like a base. So we might get that established. And I'm just going to come up a layer or two. That's going to be sort of, I might as well use this layer through here. And actually, before I do that, I do actually have up above, I'll just make it so that it's got like a wideish staircase all the way up. Might as well dig it all down now properly. And just get down to that layer. And so this will be the layer that we then make use of. So that'll be our bottom layer, essentially, of the fortress. We won't worry about going any deeper than that just yet. So I'll wait until this has all been built, and I might just dig out a few other little rooms and things so we can start to sort of talk about how this will then work. So we're a long way down in the fortress, and it's going to take them a long time to then walk back and forwards from where they actually are. So there's a few things that they need urgently, and then there's some other things that would be nice to have. The nice to have things are like sleeping, so if we can actually sort of get some sleeping arrangements down here for the ones that actually work down here. We'll do that eventually, but we won't do that one right now. Initially though, food and drink is really what they do require. So if we can get a food and drink stockpile, just initially, maybe sort of make it like a 2x2, and we just put it on the side of the staircase. That will sort of at least get the workers that are working down here with the ability to actually then go and eat. Now, yeah, even just a 1x1 would actually do the job, but let's just make it a little bit bigger. Actually, we don't have that much food, so maybe we won't do that. We'll just go across the stockpile, add a new stockpile, and yeah, I'll start off with a 1x1, and then I'll just come back across, except that one is going to be food. And in this case, the custom we're going to do with this one is just going to be none, but it'll allow prepared meals. And we're also then going to go across with that one selected and just go and take from, and then we're just going to go back up the top of the fortress and find where we actually have our prepared food stockpile, which I think is this one here, I think. Yep, prepared meals, done. Right, so that's that stockpile. So they're going to have prepared meals brought down to that particular stockpile. Now I need to set up a another zone so that we know that this is the actual working zone. It's a long way down in the fortress, -75. So let's make this one say F8, I think, which is the last of the F numbers that we can use. Where are we? Just off there. So we'll just go to F75. There we are. So this will be F8, and so I'm just going to position that one to around about like this. That will do. So I'm digging out a big area. I'll talk about this once this has all been dug out. So I'll just go to H. I should just right click first. H, and then for F8, I'm just going to go and send this one down to the Magma. Magma smelters. And that's going to be F8. So we can now just go straight to here if we need to. Now that's the first one. Let's just go and build the second one. So the second stockpile, that was one was for food. And this one here is going to be for drink. We're going to accept that. And food, custom. In this case, I'll just get plant drinks. Just go none, allow plant drinks, allow any of them. Doesn't matter what they actually bring down this side. And in this case, we're just going to go and get the... just right click and then go and take from the drink stockpile, which is this one here. Yeah, plant drink, done. So that way the finished goods will then sort of be, there'll be one barrel taken down the bottom there the whole time while they're actually working. So we'll just go back down, F8, and I'll let them dig out all of this area. Down the bottom here, we've got pretty much nothing. We're not going to be using that. The area above, I have actually channeled out. This is where I'm going to start to sort of build like a meeting hall, things like that, just for these guys. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'll just pause and we'll come back when it's all done. Actually, another thing we can do here, we've now got the drink that's now sort of arriving. So this is now in here. What have we got? Rye beer. Okay, so we've got rye beer in through this side, which is great. We've got 13 servings of that, but we don't have anything to drink it from, so we're going to go upstairs and grab a cup and then bring the cup back downstairs. So we don't want that. We want to have the cups available to them, so we're going to go and add another stockpile. I forgot to do this. I'll just add, say, 3 cups. So I can have a barrel, like a bin of cups, which I don't want. I just want individual cups. Just going to go across. This could be finished goods. We're going to go to custom. We're going to go to none, and then we're going to go to type and just go across to goblets. Allow the goblets. Stone or clay, yes, any type of stone or clay will do. I don't need anything else, that'll be okay. Core quality, or any quality will be fine. That's important to make sure that you keep those on. If you turn them off, it basically means that nothing will be allowed in there because it won't be good enough. I think that's how it works. I don't think it then just defaults to everything if you turn them all off. But anyway, that's the finished goods, and then we just come back up one, go to the bins and barrels, and just make so that we've got 0 bins, and then that way they will eventually bring down goblets when they have a drink, and then they should just leave them in here when they when they clean up. So this is going to be like their kitchen bench. Anyway, I'll let them continue. Now, just to sort of go through the different areas, this is going to be for my main metal working. So when we create finished goods from the metal that we create, we'll be in through here. My smelters will be in this side, and so I'll be doing the smelting from that area, and then this will be for, oh, here we go, we've got ourselves a fire snake in here already. Now this is not anything that shouldn't worry us too much. I'll just double click. We do still have the forgotten beast down below, but that's okay. It's just a pest base essentially. Yeah, it'll disappear. Yeah, that's okay. That keeps them coming back. I think we can sort of avoid it or ignore it to a degree anyway. But some of them we can't, like magma crabs we definitely can't. We can't ignore them. Alright, so we've now done all of this zoning through this side. While we've got everyone sort of working away, what we will do is because they can't just go and drink out of with their hands, they do need to have a cup, or they would like to have a cup for drinking. So back in through this side, now we're moving, this is going to be my main storage for finished goods, and then we're going to have like a train station here to allow us to get goods from the like up to the top, and to bring anything else down to the bottom that might be required. So we'll think about what to do with that one. I'll build that in another episode. That's sort of, but I've just designated that one for the future with a channel up ready for the train track to come back in, and we'll test that one out and just sort of figure out if it's going to work or not. I don't want to have too much of I don't want it to be crashing down, but we'll sort of see that at times. Now, the next phase, and this is probably the most important phase, is how do we establish what we want to do. Now, I'll be wanting to have, if we just go back across into our workshops in here, for example, I'll just sort of show you what they look like. So if we go across, we've got Magma Forges back into here, which is going to be our metal works. Now, we did this one 2 episodes. No, the previous episode, we actually had a look at just doing normal forges. Similar sort of thing. So we just have a bit of a look. This is a metal forge. And now the important thing with a metal forge, or with any of these sort of forges, is to look at where there's 2 elements to it. If I just go and place it there, so I've only got 1 iron anvil, I can only place 1 of these anyway, so I'll just go and do it. Actually, it's not going to, until this is built, it's not really going to work. This one also won't work. Now, if I use, actually that one's mic is only 7 away, so that would actually be okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking, actually thinking out aloud, I probably want to actually build it more over here, just near to this area. So I think I'll start at this end and then work our way through. So I'll just go and build it, but the thing is, it needs to have access to the magma, which means that you need to create a hole first. And so when we have a look at this, when we have a look at the actual, not the furniture, the workshops, the magma forge, if I just put it in the dark area, you can see there that on either side of this, there's like where my cursor is. On the left-hand side is a table. On the right-hand side is a is essentially a forge, like a mini forge or a small forge. The forge and the table are the only safe areas that block off access from below. If I put a hole anywhere else, they can still work it. They can still do everything they need to do, but it will allow things to crawl up out of the magma and into the fortress. So we want to stop that, and we stop that by making sure that the hole is where those things are. So if I'm going to be placing this one right here, for example, I'm safe either. Well, actually, I'll just draw it in so you can sort of see it. I'll just draw both of them in, but I won't unpause. So I'm just going to go down. We can channel down here or here. Either one of those. If I then just go back across to the workshop and show you what this looks like again. So the magma forge, in either one of those locations, those two spots are directly under the forge or the table. Now, I guess the easiest rule of thumb is to always put things under the forge side. I think that's the easiest because of what happens with the smelters. It's the same sort of deal with them as well. And so I'm just going to go and get rid of that. Now, I will channel down into there. I'll allow that one to sort of go through. I don't need them under both. I just need one channeled area underneath where the forge will be then built. So I'll leave that one there because that's exactly where I do want it. Now there'll be other ones as well that we're going to be needing in the future. Now all of my forges are going to be placed along the bottom here, and so I'm going to be thinking ahead. Now I can do this. I can either dig them out right now and then block the top with hatches. That would be pretty safe, or even with just blocking it off with with anything really, like a piece of a grate or something along those lines, and then just taking it off when it's time to build the next forge. Or I can just go across, which is probably the easiest of all, is to just go through and just go into planning mode, and that way I can just do a channel down. So I'm going to have like every 4 along, I'm just going to place another one. So I'm going to place one there. I'm leaving little walkways in through this side so I can see. I can then just sort of use that also as a bit of a guide as to where to build these things. And that will be there. So we're going to end up with 5 of those ultimately. Will be sort of like what I think would be enough for what we actually need to get this thing working. So that's where we are through there. There's hot areas directly underneath here. So some of these I could actually just channel and start using straight away. Now the actual smelters are going to be the next part of this. So if we have a look at the workshops for the furnaces, and then we have a look at the different types of smelters. Now we've got a fair few different types. Again, we've got the kiln, we've got the glass, the magma glass furnace, the magma kiln, and then the actual just the magma smelters. Now I probably, again, 5 is heaps, 3 smelters, 1 each of the kiln and the glass furnace will actually do me. That would be sort of all I should need. And so if I just go across the magma smelter, you'll now see where the furnace is. It's actually up underneath in a different area. And so with this one here, and even though it looks like it's going to block off that area behind, they can still walk straight through and do what they have to do. The actual furniture doesn't block our dwarves at all, but it does block things going down to the next layer. And so if I place these holes directly under here, and I'll be wanting to build, probably be wanting to build all of these pretty much right from the start. So I will channel this one down. Actually, I'll do this one now as real. So we'll do a channel there, channel there, channel there, channel there, and channel there. And so when we have a look at the smelters, they're all the same sort of layout, where they've got the smelting area is in that exact spot. And so when we have a bit of a look at that one again, just go to workshops, furnaces, magma smelter, it will end up being positioned, the top middle is exactly where we need to then block the access. It's very important to know that these have got different, like if it was like this one through here, the magma crabs and things could get up out of the magma and actually do a lot of damage inside our fortress. So we don't want that. So anyway, that's going to be fine. Now when we start to dig down, you'll see that none of these actually channel down into the lava as such just yet. So I'll let them dig that one out, and then we'll come back and finish this off. So I'll just pause again. We've now got all the channels going down into this area. Now what we want to have is we ultimately want to have these will be blocked off when we start to build different things. But at the moment, they're access points for us to get out once we start to actually let the lava flow. Now, again, I like to sort of be able to see where I've got the dots for the access, just in case in the future I sort of need to do it. So I try to keep these fairly clean. Now, if I go and have a bit of a look at this, I mean, we could dig our access point. I mean, I could actually dig all the way across here if I wanted to. They do all channel off, which would be okay. So we could do that, and then we could actually dig down. Now we're going to have other ones that will end up being, for example, there's going to be one that will end up being directly underneath there, so we'll need to get an access point in through there. I could just loop around essentially. If I looped around and then opened this one up, that would actually then work. So I can actually just come back across. Yeah, so I'll just do it this way. This way we know that we're then going to have everything that we require. Now, I don't want to do that last one just yet. So I'm just going to go and remove that one because I don't want to be opening this one up until I'm completely ready. But that way, when I do channel down through here and here, that will then just have lava ready to sort of flow back out and sort of access that one there. So we've still got another layer of lava above, so that will then, when this one does channel in, this will then go to, to 6s, possibly even 5s as it drains away, but it'll be okay. So with that one done there, we can now let all of these can now be channeled out. So I'll come back when this is all done. Oh, by the way, here's someone having a drink. So he's having a drink. The cup is there. Actually, I don't know if he dropped the cup there. Did he drop the cup? Oh, here we go. Some migrants have arrived. Well, we won't bother looking at those. Oh, he didn't use a cup. There is a cup right there, though. He could have used that. Anyway, we continue on. These guys are just mining away. Now, there may still be hot elements, but I think we've pretty much got it all covered here. Now, that one did actually finish off. Okay, we'll just get those done. All right, so now what we have is we now have an access directly into the lava. Now, I'm just going to keep this open the whole way. Otherwise, I would think about putting a floodgate in through here somewhere made out of magma-safe materials. Maybe I should show you that just so that you're aware of how to actually then action that. If you make a floodgate out of non-magma-safe materials, it'll just melt away. And so we have to make sure that essentially the whole floodgate is actually, I'm not going to do it, but if we were going to do it, we would then need to go in, and I don't think I've got any floodgates. Actually, no, I still should have a few of them. If we go into furniture and then go into, machines and fluids, floodgates, and just go and place one, say, around here somewhere. You can see we've got cobalite and microline. The two different, we've got 4 floodgates that we've got built. We also have mechanisms as well, and so I'm pretty sure the mechanisms also have to be made out of magma-safe materials. But what's magma-safe materials? So is cobalite or microline magma-safe? We don't know. Well, we do know by going into here and then going into stone use, and then we have either economic stone or other stone. Now, this is just other stone. So if we look at cobalite, it's not magma-safe. So we can't make it out of the cobalite version. What about the microline? No, it's not magma-safe as well. So I'm pretty sure we've got mica that we've come across. Orthoclase, I think we've come across. There's a whole lot of them with the tick. And so we need to make sure that we make an actual floodgate. I'll just show you how to do that. And similarly with with our mechanisms, if we go back up into mechanisms, we've got sandstone, mudstone, rock salt, limestone, conglomerate, granite. Now even granite isn't, I don't think. So there's a lot of mechanisms that we've actually got heaps of them. Now a lot of these are probably being used, I would guess. Slate knee. So you can actually have a bit of a look. Actually, there's some mica ones there. Okay, yeah, there's some mica ones. So we saw there in our rock use that mica for other stone is fine. So mica, not a problem. So if we make a floodgate out of mica as well, we could then actually put those bits and pieces together. I don't know if the mechanism has to be done that way, but anyway, we do actually have. If we do need a mica floodgate, we can actually then go and do that one. So then to build that one, I might as well just go and do it while we're here. Just go to my workshop layers. This is a crafts dwarf. That's the stoneworkers. So we just add a new task, and so we're just going to now go and make a rock floodgate Now when we do this one here, so it can be anything it likes, but we want mica, so we just come across to here and set the detail. And so we just go back down to mica. We've got 74 mica. This is quite handy actually to see this. And now it's going to be making a mica floodgate, which would then be magma safe and would be fine for what we do. But we're not going to bother doing that. I thought I'd just show that one. Just go to F8 again and go back down again. So with what we actually have through here now, we're going to be channeling through this area at the very, very back end. To make it safe, we want the miner to run back through water, to cross water before they do any actual work. And so to do that one, the only real effective way, without bringing, like, you know, they can't tell them to get a bucket and do the bucket challenge or whatever, or the ice challenge, whatever it was called back a few years ago. What we need to do is just make sure there's nothing underneath here, which there isn't, and then just go and dig and channel down just a couple away, even just one away from the back end. So we just channel into there. So we'll get them to dig that as well. And once that's done, so with that little channel, it goes down one more layer. Now, if we can get this up to level 2, that would be ideal, because it would then fill in with a piece of obsidian underneath. If it's only level 1, the water will then evaporate and will go off. But to get this one with some water in it, and I'm thinking we're probably not going to be able to get to level 2 just because we're so far down underground. We're just going to go into our zones. We then click over the top, actually click over through here, pits or ponds. We then just do a single click in that location. So it's going to be a pit or a pond. There's only one area for it. We accept that. We then go and change it from being a pit to a pond. And that's all we do. And now we just have to monitor that and wait for somebody to come and fill that one up with water. So we'll wait until that's actually been done. Oh, hang on, there's another area there that needs to be channeled out. You've got to really make sure you get all of these. Anyway, I'll let that one go. So this dwarven child has been given the job to go and fill it up. So let's just go and follow. So it's going to be hauling a bayberry wood bucket, and we'll just watch as it then hauls that one to the water source, to the well, fills it up. So it's now, if we now have a look at its items, you can see that it's got a bucket full of water. Now the 10 doesn't really equate to anything else. Let's just go back down. So it goes all the way down through. It's going fairly fast, but it does take an awfully long time. This is why you need as much stuff down here as you think you're going to be requiring. So long way down. This is going to be exhausting for this little kid. Down we go. Fills it up and just leaves the bucket there. So the bucket possibly they'll just burn up. Now if we have a look down, it's just gone to level 1. Now if we have a look at the other, let's see if anyone else has now got the next job of that one, of filling that one up. Fill pond. Yeah, so another child, it may be the same one. I used the same one. Okay, so that one's just going back off again to, I'm going to see if I can get it to level 2. So let's just go and wait for that one. So up she goes again, and 4 years old, but able to fill a pond. I'll let that happen one more time, and then we'll actually just do our mining operation at the back end of this. Anyway, I'll pause again. Okay, so coming back in again, does it again. I think it's still carrying the bucket now. So yeah, it's hauling a different bucket this time. If we have a look at the items, yep, so it's now, see how the water is covering it, the kid? Like the kid is now sort of got water all over it. That's actually what we want for the miners. So now if we have a look, we've now gone to level 2. Now if we can stay at level 2 before, like it can evaporate. So if it evaporates back to level 1, we'll end up with a hole with lava in it. If we can stay at level 2, it'll fill in with obsidian when the lava hits it. But this now is safe for us to now go across and channel out this. So let's go and do that. We now have to, very importantly, come back in and remove our pond, because we no longer need the pond. It's done its job. Okay, so we'll just wait for the miner to come back in. Here we go. Somebody's going to come from the top of the fortress. Just see who that actually is. I think it'll be the only job that we actually have. Where are we? So sleeping, digging. So it's going to be Ubith. I'm assuming she's going to then go back down. Just see elevation. Yeah, going into the negatives. Coming back across. And so what will happen with her, we'll just follow her through while this actually happens. It's a long way down. So when we build the mine carts, that's going to be another fairly major thing. Now at this point, if we have a look at her again and her items, you'll see that she's now covered in water, which gives her some protection, a little bit of protection. Also, we're going in on the diagonal, which gives them a little bit more protection, but really it doesn't matter with the water right here, because what will happen is, I'll just go and step through. One of the great things now with the game is we do actually have a way of stepping through. So when we get through this piece of lava, I'll just keep on stepping through. It does take a little bit for them to mine this one out. There we go. It's now been mined. She will now move away as the lava starts to come back through. She goes into the pit, comes back out again, and then the lava is now following her through. Now the lava, when it hits this area, and I'll just let it continue on a little bit. So she's now covered in water. The lava's actually now coming across. It's going to sizzle and hit that area. See how we're now getting a big rise of steam, and we now have an obsidian cavern floor because it was level 2. If it's level 1, it would just evaporate off into the steam and would just be a hole full of lava. I like that just for the cleanliness of it. So there's steam still on there, but it basically would then just be obsidian, just a little block of obsidian. Block it off. It looks nice and neat. Neatness is everything, isn't it, in a fortress? So we've now got a very dangerous area through here. Now, one thing I should actually check is that nobody is coming to collect any of these. So let's just go across and forbid all of these rocks, just in case anyone's got a bright idea to bounce in and pick any of those up. You never know. Like, you know, if some of them could have designations to be picked up. So we're still seeing the steam. Now what we're going to find is that the underneath here we're going to then end up with lava filling up. So as it sort of comes into this zone, it will then leach across. So we're starting to now see the lava filling up there, and then it will also then hit these other zones as well and fill up in through there as well. Now this is now a fairly vulnerable position that we find ourselves in. Here's the food and drink now for the workers that will be working down this way. We've got a bit of a vulnerable position simply because we now have these holes with direct access to the magma. And so we have to then fill it with what I sort of said before about the, we just go across to the workshops. We're just going to build, we've only got one anvil, that's why I could only really build one of these at the start here. Just going to go across to my metal, my magma forge. Now remember, look for where the forge part of it is, because that's where you should be placing it on top. And so when we place that over the magma, that's safe, or it was safe in the previous versions of the game. So I'm assuming it's safe in this version. Go and place it in only one iron anvil. We need to then select materials, so just make it out of mica. I think it's presenting the stuff that is actually magma safe, I think. We're only making it stuff out of the magma safe materials, and so that's then going to be set up through there. Now up through here we now have the smelters. I'm going to put 3 smelters plus a kiln and a glass smelter, and so that's just going to be essentially going across into our workshops. Furnaces, a magma smelter. I'll just leave this one on because we've got a few of these to build, and so again right over the top is where the actual forge part is of these is the safe zone. So I'll make these out of mica as well, and get 3 of those. All right, and then for the next portion we're going to go back across, go to our workshops in through here again, furnaces. We've now got a magma kiln, and make that one out of mica, and also just the next one as well. So workshops, furnaces, and then a magma glass furnace. Now in reality the magma glass furnace is probably not something we'll ever use, but it's there. For the simple reason we don't have sand. I haven't seen any sand on our actual map, and so we don't have the ability to really turn sand, like the silicon from sand, into glass. If we found a pocket of sand somewhere, then maybe that would be okay, but in this map I haven't found any. We may find it eventually. Anyway, that's sort of the start of where we are. So I'll let these all get built, and then we'll have a look and see what it is. I think that I've gone through already in the previous episode how to actually then go and actually, to order different things from these. And so I won't go through that again. But what I will do ultimately is then create some little stockpiles for different sorts of things, so we can start to sort of then specialize. One thing I do want to be doing is building more anvils. So that will be important to us. We've already got one anvil upstairs for the normal forge, and so we can actually now go up. If I go up to F2, and or F3 actually, and go back down to where my other workshops were, where do we build that? In through here. I no longer need this one, so I'm going to pull that one apart. And I really no longer need this smelter either, so I'm going to pull that one apart. For the simple reason that everything's now with Magma. I could use it for other things if I really wanted to, but we're not going to be wanting this stockpile anymore, so we can sort of get rid of that one because I'll be wanting all of this downstairs. And what we could do is actually have the train station run into here ultimately, and then channel all of that back downstairs again if we needed to. Just go back to F8. We'll just watch them build all of this. So everyone's building away. And so this is the only vulnerable time. Once this is built, it should be safe. Nothing really. Those little fire snakes will just appear anyway. They're just like pests. Here we go. It looks great out of mica. Actually, it looks beautiful. And so we'll end up with another anvil. And so to create the next one, all I just go back in and just go and channel that one out, put the next forge across, and away we go. I can't put a smelter there for the simple reason that it does actually, it's going to then expose everything. And so now we have the Magma forges ready to roll. That's great. That's absolutely great. So, and eventually what I'll do is I'll just end up with all of my different materials. Now I'll try to get whatever sort of ore that I actually have in the fortress. I'll be wanting to have like a separate stockpile for each of those, just so we can keep track of how much we actually have. And so that will be for the ores up and through that other side. They don't get stored in bins or anything, but we can then just have them make like over through here. For example, I'll probably end up with bins of the different bars that we then create, and then from that these will then create the final goods, and this will be like a finished goods stockpile where all of those elements will then be placed. And you'll probably have a few of those different sorts of stockpiles as well, depending on what we do with it. A finished goods one potentially, and also a furniture one as well. Just so we can get sort of like larger things, actually clothing as well, armor, weaponry, all sorts of different bits and pieces that we'll need to sort of ultimately make good use of. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching. This one was a bit of a long one, but at least we sort of now have got magma smelters. It's a long way down in the fortress. So it's right at the very, very bottom of the fortress. And we will have to then, ultimately, anyone who's going to be working down here will have to be fed and housed, essentially. So we'll end up with probably a second group of people who don't really move away from this zone. And then we'll just have everything automated with mine carts. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll catch you next time.